JDK installed, sir.
Okay.
Both are
Can you
installed.
share your screen quickly? Please share your screen quickly.
Yes, sir. I shared my screen, sir.
Yeah.
This is the Eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay, and the JDK already installed in the laptop, but it was not showing in the desktop, sir. I can where it is fine.
That's fine. No issues. Click Eclipse first.
Launch, sir. Hello.
Sorry. Okay. Can you click browse?
I clicked on launch, sir. Start. Hello.
Yeah. Close this. Welcome. Yeah. Go to file. Yeah. Switch workspace. Last. Yeah. Ajar. Okay. Can you browse? Click browse. Okay. Go to D drive. Do you have space in D drive? Always select D drive. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Create one folder here. Java projects.
Okay, sir.
Select the Java projects. Yeah. Select Java folder. Yeah. Select folder. Button. Click the select folder button. Down.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
down.
sir.
In the same chart, there is a button. Select folder. Down. There is a button. There are two buttons: cancel and select folder.
Okay. Select for.
Yeah. Click launch. Okay. Fine. You are able to create Java projects. Okay, let's continue.
Okay.
I think Shabir also has created a similar kind of environment. Then we can start.
Okay.
He has installed. He has shared a screenshot anyway. So your question is where do we find JDK installed, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, go to your C drive. Yeah, C drive. Yeah, there are program files. Yeah. Yeah, Java. Yeah, it is there. Up. Yeah, Java. Click Java. Java. Click it. Yes. Okay. Click JDK. We have already installed it actually. JDK.
Yes, sir.
JDK. Yeah, this is a folder you have already. Click bin. Click bin. Yeah. Check Java C is there or not. Java C is there. Java W is there. Java is there. Yeah, fine. Okay, copy this folder
Those
and
are the Java.
yeah, copy this folder and put it in your okay notepad. May require sometimes. So copy this folder. Yeah. So
Can I
this
close this, sir?
yeah.
Close this one or not?
No, don't do it. Let it be. Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen. Yeah. Let
Hello,
me
sir.
share my screen. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Hey, can you go to D drive once again? C drive.
Sorry, sir.
Oh no, can you share and show me your C drive once?
Can't hear you, sir.
No, Raja, I'm asking you. Okay, I'm just going
Okay.
to. Yeah, you already host actually. Please share your screen once again. Yeah, go to C
Yes,
drive.
sir.
Yeah, go to Java. Copy that folder path. Yeah, JDK. Yeah, JDK. Click JDK. Yeah, copy this path quickly. Copy this path. No. Copy.
Total, sir.
Copy this path.
Copy.
ఆహా అక్కడ క్లిక్ చేయండి ఆ ఎడిటర్ లో కాపీ అవుతుంది పాత్ కాపీ చేయండి పాత్
Path. Okay, sir. Click చేయాలి బిన్ ని.
మీరు అక్కడ ఎడిటర్ ఉంది కదా దాంట్లో ఒకసారి ఇక్కడ క్లిక్ చేయండి ఇక్కడ
ఎక్కడ సార్
JDK
ఎడిటర్
1080_2D
క్లిక్ చేయాలా సార్?
ఇంకా లాస్ట్ లో పెట్టి క్లిక్ చేయండి లాస్ట్ అక్కడ కర్సర్ పెట్టండి కర్సర్ పెట్టేసండి
ఇక్కడ
ఓకే ఫైన్ క్లిక్ దేర్ అక్కడికి దాని పక్కన క్లిక్ చేయండి
29 పక్కన 291 పక్కన ఒక చిన్న arrow ఉంది అక్కడ క్లిక్.
లాస్ట్ లో క్లిక్ చేయండి పాత్ కాపీ చేయండి
కరెక్ట్ అదే అక్కడనే.
క్లిక్ చేశాను. ఓకే.
అక్కడికి దాని పక్కన క్లిక్ చేయండి స్పేస్ ఉంది కదా కాపీ అడ్రస్ యా ఫైన్ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ కాపీ అడ్రస్
ఓకే.
now go to sets quickly. Yeah, Shabir, follow the same steps. If you didn't add this one into the environment variables, enter edit edit yeah, click that first option, edit the system environment variables. Click environment. Yes, yeah, close it. It's already open. It's already open one wizard. Yeah, clicks in environment variables. Shabir, please follow these steps if you didn't add the Java path to the path variable. Okay, yeah, go to system variables. There you click new. Yeah. So, type there all caps Java_home. Java underscore home. Yes. Done. Yeah. Paste your path details there. Yes. Yeah. Do it quickly. Yes. Okay. Done. Go to path. There is another variable called path, right? Just click that path and edit.
Where is it, sir?
Yeah.
In
Path.
C drive?
Yeah. Below OS, there is a path variable. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Click edit. Click edit. Click edit. There is a button. Yes. Click edit.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Just Java path we have already added, I think. Okay. Assistant to web OpenSSH. Okay. Click new. Click new. Yeah. Copy that path over there. Copy the path. Yes. Click OK.
Okay.
Click OK. That's it. Click OK. Okay. You can unshare now.
Okay, చేశారు sir.
Shabir, do you have any issues in installation? No, right?
Sir, can I click the stop share, sir?
Yeah, you can stop sharing this. Yes. Shabir, do you have any issues in installation?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now you can hear it.
Yeah, I'm just I was trying to speak from past 2 minutes, but I forgot to unmute it.
Okay, no issues. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not able to download in the laptop, so I'm doing trying to do in the system. So
Why?
I don't
Why?
know, sir. Maybe
No,
I don't know.
you shared one screenshot also, right? You are able to open Eclipse.
Yeah, I shared it, but I don't know, something is just the system went off.
Okay.
So I just trying to do in the
Again, you want to do again? Okay. No
yeah,
problem.
I'm doing in PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing PC. I'm just trying to do from the direct web page, Eclipse web page.
No issues. You can do
Okay.
it. No issues. You no need to
So
download
I
from
just
web.
I have some sir in the WhatsApp I send you the photo, right? In should I select the Eclipse IDE for Java developers?
Yeah, of course.
After that is the normal thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm trying to do it from here because the laptop is not. I don't know why it is not accepting it. So there's a problem.
That is fine. Actually, you can once it is done, just show me if you have any issues. But we will continue the session. Okay. If you have any issues,
Okay,
so you can let us know tomorrow. We will resolve. But we will
okay,
continue.
sure. Sir, please carry on the today's class.
Pardon me.
Okay, I will try to download it. If there is a problem, I will
No
tell you
problem.
tomorrow.
Take your own time now. If you say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let me share my screen quickly. It's already late.
Okay.
See, I do have the same version of Eclipse IDE, whichever I shared to both of you, the same version I'm using. So why I've shared this software. Okay, later on you no need to come up with the compatibility issues. Whatever the version which I have shared to all of you, I'm using the same version of Eclipse. Okay, but try to
Which version, sir? It's Java 8, sir?
No, Eclipse IDE I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay. So as we discussed, actually, we are discussing about Java, its architecture yesterday. So what is Java basically? Okay, I'll explain 1 minute. I'm stop sharing the screen just a minute. Look at this image. Try to understand this image. Very small.
If you claim plus button.
Is it visible? No, I
No,
think
sir.
it's fine. There is another. This is also very small. I don't know why. I just downloaded.
This is okay, sir.
Okay. Hope you are able to see these images now. Are you able to view my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we had a discussion yesterday, there are two components in Java. Basically, we call it as a JDK, Java Development Kit, contains two parts, two components. One is JRE, Java Runtime Environment, and JVM. Okay. Coming to JRE, what?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, sir.
I don't know. It's a very small one. Let me open. It's still very small one. That's fine. Okay. First one is JRE. What is JRE? Java Runtime Environment. Okay. Java Runtime Environment provides a environment to run your Java program. So to run a Java program, what do you need actually? We need a system library. And then we need compiler. Okay. Why we need a system library? As I told you in our previous session, whatever the syntax we are using, system dot out dot println. This is a very simple command. Okay. And similarly, we use actually integer, float, for, and then break, continue. These are keywords. Why we are calling these are keywords? These are reserved phrases. Okay, who reserved this actually? Java developers has reserved these words. We can't use these variables, these words as a programmer. We cannot use these words as a programmer because these are reserved words, also called as keywords. Why they have reserved? They reserved because they have used these words in their program. What are those programs? Those programs are called as a system programs. System programs are nothing but a system library. What is library? Library is nothing but a set of.
It's a collection of.
Yeah, set of or a collection of classes. Okay. These also called as packages. Okay. Either you can say set of classes or collection of classes, also called as packages. What is this packages actually? Packages are basically nothing but a related classes. That means there are classes which are related to each other. Why do you need to maintain classes under packages? To organize classes effectively as a programmer, you have to maintain these classes under packages. Okay. So best example, java.lang, java.util, java.io. These are packages, various packages. Okay. So what is this Java? Java is a parent package. Here, the Java is a parent package. Inside parent package, there is another package called lang. This is another package, also called as a derived package, also called as a child package. Why we are using lang actually? See, to create a program using Java language, we have created a lot of keywords. Those keywords are under a java.lang. To use those keywords, we have to import java.lang. Java.lang. Lang is nothing but a language. Okay. So these classes and packages are organized under JRE. Clear? These classes and packages are organized under a JRE. Okay. So coming to next, coming to how our program works basically. How it works basically. See, first we will create a very simple program. Okay. Then we use a command called javac. Javac basically used to compile our program. Then it creates a hello world .class file. Here the extension is .java. After compilation, it generates a .class file. Okay. .class file is nothing but a byte code. Byte code or intermediary code. So after that, actually, this class file .class file acts as a input to JVM. What the JVM consists of? Tell me what this JVM consists of.
The Java virtual machine.
Yes. The Java virtual machine consists of Java loader, class loader subsystem. Okay. Under class loader subsystem, there are three components: loading, linking, initializing. What is this loading, linking, and initializing? Okay. Actually, as I said, we use a lot of libraries and packages to run our Java program. To use, actually, we use a keyword called import java.lang. Okay. So what is this import.java.lang? It imports all the packages. Why we need to import? This is also called as loading. This is also called as loading. It basically loads all the required class files and packages into the class path. That is nothing but a loading. Under loading, bootstrap class loader, extension class loader, application class loader. Okay. Then finally linking. After loading, what you have to do? You have to link these libraries to the current project. Then only your project does not throw any error. Otherwise, your program end up with a lot of errors. After loading your classes, it's supposed to be linked to your project. It links a project. Under linking, there are three phases: verifying, preparing, and resolving. Okay. It verifies linking and prepares the linking, and then finally, if there are any conflicts, it resolves the linking. And then finally, it will initialize your classes. It will initialize your classes. These are the three functionalities of a class loader subsystem. Class loader subsystem is part of JVM. Okay, so far we have discussed about JRE and compiler. Now we are discussing about JVM. See, after loading all subsystems and classes, finally it will go to the another component. It is also part of JVM. This component is called as a remote runtime data area. See, to run your program, we need to store all the data, entire data and objects into the memory. This is also called as a memory management. Runtime data area also called as a memory management.
Memory management.
Yes. In Java, there are two types of memories. One is a dynamic memory and a temporary memory and a permanent memory. Okay. See, these memory types are also called as a heap memory and a stack memory. Heap memory and a stack memory. If you create a simple program and create one object for the program, all these objects are stored under a heap memory. Heap memory is a robust and a very fast memory. Okay, it is very easy to access compared to stacks. And coming to methods, we might have created so many methods in your program. All these methods would be stored. Methods are nothing but inside methods, we will create a lot of local variables. Okay, I will explain what is local variables later. But the memory required for storing all the methods in your class will be stored in a method area. Okay, and then heap memory, where all the objects of the class get stored in a heap memory. And stack, if there are multiple processors running in the backend, these processors are stored in a stack. Okay, stack contains thread 1, thread 2, thread, and so on, right? What is thread? Thread is nothing but a process. Currently, how many processes are running in our system? In my laptop, look at here, go to task manager, see how many processes are running. Microsoft PowerPoint, Eclipse, Google Chrome, Notepad, two Notepad. Even though application is same, I have created 2 instances. That means every process is a thread. Clear? How many threads are there currently? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Visibly, there are 7 threads running in my system. Invisible, I mean in the background, we have so many processors running. Operating system, right? Operating system would be there. Under operating system, there are so many device drivers. These device drivers also running. Why? My screen is so bright. Why? Because the switch on. And the device driver that is connected to the desktop should be running in the background. Okay, so many processors running. These processors are stored in a stack memory. Similarly, if you are creating a program using a multi-threading concepts, these programs are stored in a stack memory. Okay, And then coming to the next very important component called native method stack. What is native method stack? What is native method stack? See, the methods which connected to the native libraries of your system are stored in the temporary memory area called as a native method stack. What is this native method? As I told you, native library. What is this native library? Native library is nothing but the library which deals with your hardware and software of your system. It might be operating system, it might be your keyboard, it might be a mouse, it might be a touchpad, or it might be a keyboard. Okay, so there is an interface that connects to your program. These are called as APIs. These APIs are also called as native method. See here, you can see native method interface. In the third layer, you can see native method interface. Native method interface acts as a mediator that connects to native method library to your execution engine. Okay, so after allocating the memory to your classes and Java programs, finally you go to the third layer and JVM. What is the third layer? Third layer is nothing but execution engine. You're supposed to execute your program, right? How do we execute? We can execute our Java program. Just a second, I have to attend this call. Hello. Hello. Okay. Execution engine contains three components. Interpreter. What is interpreter? Your bytecode is there anyway, but bytecode has to be understood by the system. Hence, there should be interpreter. Who is interpreter? Basically, the person who interprets language, interprets a language from one format to another format. Okay, we call it as a translator, right? This, what is the job of translator? He translates. Okay, what is the job of translator? Translator job is translates from one language to another language. Similarly, interpreter actually it interprets the bytecode. It interprets the bytecode into a machine code. Okay. So after that, just-in-time compiler. What is just-in-time compiler? See, just-in-time compiler make our system or make our program much faster. Just-in-time compiler. Here we have already one compiler before JVM. But again, there is another compiler called just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler gets invoked during execution of the program. It basically stores all the instances of the program in a temporary memory. It might be a heap or stack. Just-in-time compiler invokes this compiled code quickly. That's why our program execution is very, very fast in the second iteration. First iteration, we don't have any just-in-time compiler concept, but the second time, if you start executing the same program again and again, where just-in-time compiler gets invoked and automatically it make our execution faster. Okay. Finally, garbage collection. What is garbage collector? Garbage collector also a part of JVM. Its job is basically collect all unused memory and objects and release the memory. If they are no more in usage, it simply release the memory. Basically, it is a very effective tool for managing our memory in Java. Okay, garbage collector. Is it clear? So there are three components in JVM. Class loader, it loads all the classes and libraries and links and finally initializes all the classes. Then go to the runtime data area. The runtime data area deals with the memory. Basically, all runtime data gets stored into heap and stack and a method area. Okay, finally, it has integration with the native method stack also, where all the native method libraries and interfaces are stored in a native method stack. And native method stack where native method interface and native method library would be stored. Finally, execution engine. Execution engine basically connects to the runtime data area and also connects to the native method interface and a native method library. The execution engine contains three components: interpreter, just-in-time compiler, and then a garbage collector. Is it clear? Please let me know if you have any questions in Java architecture. This is very, very important concept.
Hello.
Yes.
So can you explain little bit slower once again?
No. You would have stopped in middle itself, Shabir. I can't explain the entire thing. It would go another 30 minutes. Where is what is your doubt? Tell me. That's why actually you have to stop whenever you have doubt in middle. Don't wait. Okay. I will explain once again. Just listen carefully. See, we have a Java program. Java
Not this,
program is called as
the diagram.
yeah, of course, diagram. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. JV model. Just explain this.
Java, which one? Runtime
JV.
data area.
Yeah, from class loader to runtime data.
Yeah, see, first you'll create a hello world.java. After that, your compiler invoke, okay, and creates okay, compiled code called .class file. .class file gets generated using the Java compiler. After that, what happened? This class file. See here, what is the input here? What's the input
Class
here?
Class.
Yeah,
Class.
.class file is an input. So this .class file gets loaded, okay, into the temporary memory called a runtime data area. Okay, this is nothing but a loading. Along with loading, it also performs called linking. It links your class library to the system library. System library called the java.lang, java.io, java.util. These are the linking, okay, packages that is required to run your program. So that is nothing but a linking. Okay, after linking it initialize. Okay, we can't use the program until unless it get initialized. After initialization, we'll go to the runtime data area where we have a method area, heap, stack, and native method stack. Basically, runtime data area deals with the memory management. Okay, method area, heap, stack, and a native method area. See, method area basically stores all the methods which we are using in our program. Heap and stack. Heap, basically, there are two types of memories we use in Java. One is heap, and another one is stack. Okay, what is heap? Heap
is a memory.
Yeah, memory. Okay, it stores basically all the objects which we have created during our program. Okay, which we created during our program. I will explain what is object and all later. Okay, we create a lot of objects during our program. All these objects get stored in a heap. Okay, coming to stack. If you are creating a multiple programs and multiple programs are running in the background simultaneously, this is supposed to be maintained and managed. Okay, to manage our program, which is developed using multi-threading concept, this would be stored in a stack memory. Stack memory contains thread 1, thread 2, thread n, and so on. If there are a number of threads, all these threads stored in a stack. Okay. Finally, it will go to native method stack. Again, it's a kind of memory where it will store all the native method libraries. What is native method library? Native means what? I am native. I am native of actually Vijayanagaram, or I am native of Vizag. How can you say I born and brought up over there? Similarly, we have a motherboard. Motherboard connects to all the components or peripheral systems of the laptop or a desktop. What are those peripheral systems? It might be a mouse, it might be a keyboard, it might be a touchpad, whatever it is. Okay. So, but to connect these devices, we need a interface. That is nothing but a native method interface. Okay. Again, to perform lot of operations. See, with mouse, how many type of operations you can perform? Tell me.
One at a time.
Yeah, what type of operations you can perform with mouse? We can drag, drop, double click. Yes, drag, drop, double click. Okay, context click, right click. Okay, scroll up, scroll down, right? Correct. So these are the different functions we can perform on a mouse. How that is possible? That is possible because we are invoking a native method library. Again, there is a software involved to connect your native devices. There is an interface called native method library. Again, this native method interface basically connects to the native method library. This basically whatever the methods you are using in your Java program, that also gets stored in a native method stack. For suppose I'm using system.out.println of hello world. Okay, what it means? The data is supposed to be printed to the console. How Java program can understand that is a console? That is where native library and a native method interface came into the picture to make create a communication between the hardware components and the Java program. Okay, we have established a connection to the hardware and the Java program. Where these methods get stored? These methods get stored in a native method stack. It is a temporary memory where these methods get stored. Okay. And coming to execution engine contains three parts: interpreter, just-in-time compiler, and a garbage collector. Clear?
Garbage collector.
Yeah. Garbage collector is nothing but what is garbage? What is garbage?
Wastage.
Waste, right? Waste. And then unwanted, not required. Okay. See, we'll create a simple program. And after creating a class file, we'll create some 100 objects for the same class.
Okay.
But basically,
Okay.
during our program, I use only one object.
Yes.
Remaining 99 objects are in a waste.
Garbage.
We have just created an object, but we are not at all using those objects. Then how these objects play a role in memory management? Actually, each and every object gets stored in a heap memory and also stored in a stack memory and method memory. There's a lot of memory occupied whenever we create a object. Whenever we create an object, it occupies a lot of memory. This can be resolved. How to resolve? We can resolve by using a garbage collector. Clear? So JVM invokes a garbage collector internally. Okay, as a programmer, we can also invoke garbage collector exclusively. That I will explain once you get into the coding. Okay, garbage collector is an internal mechanism we can't see with the naked eye. But similarly, we can invoke garbage collector mechanism. We can invoke garbage collector mechanism through program also. There is a method called system.gc garbage collector. By using this method, we can invoke a garbage collector mechanism through Java programs.
Okay.
Clear? So this is the entire architecture of Java. This is the entire architecture of Java. Anyway, I just recorded this session. I will share this record both of you. Okay. So just listen in your free time.
So the previous session also, can you send it?
Previous session, yeah.
Yeah, on the Thursday we also recorded. Can you send it?
Which session we have discussed actually? Installation only, right?
No, so you can write test cases, sir.
Yeah, the test cases and the
How to write installation.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Yes, I have, I think. Okay, I will make both of you as a viewer to the video. Okay, I will share the video to you today.